Have you ever felt like you want to believe in God, but you just can't get over the feeling that maybe God's just made up? Is God just a nice fairy tale that smart people ditch when they grow up?
So let me show you the argument that has absolutely changed the game when it comes to proving that God exists. It is known as the Kalam cosmological argument, and it consists of two main points.
If something begins to exist, then it must have a cause of its beginning. If you wait around for something to cause itself, you're going to be waiting a long time. Since both experience and reason confirm the fact that things don't just pop into existence or come about without a cause, the only way that somebody can actually oppose this idea is if they have a vested interest in not believing in God. Everyone else takes it as an obvious fact.
But if one wanted to deny this premise, what kind of approach would they try to use? Well, the most common tactic is to appeal to quantum mechanics. You see, according to some physicists, under quantum mechanics, particles can actually pop into and out of existence without needing a cause, and this would actually seem to refute the first premise of the Kalam cosmological argument.
However, it's not exactly a refutation, since there are many scientists who don't actually take the interpretation of the evidence as saying that causation doesn't apply in quantum mechanics. This is just one of at least a dozen different views on the subject. But even if we do take them at their word that causation doesn't really apply to subatomic particles, this doesn't really affect the Kalam cosmological argument, because even those particles have a material cause, and energy is a thing that is governed by the laws of physics. Energy is not nothing. So when scientists talk about particles coming into and out of existence out of nothing, this is actually not exactly true as far as what we mean by nothing. Therefore, this example is just not an example of something coming into existence without any cause. Furthermore, it is absurd to argue that something can come from nothing. Nothing cannot create anything, let alone universes, because nothing has no properties. Nothing cannot do anything, because there is nothing to do anything. Again, this premise is so blatantly obvious that you need an agenda in order to deny it.
While the philosophical case for the beginning of the universe might actually be more powerful, it's also more difficult to understand, so in this video we're going to go over the scientific case for the beginning of the universe.
Consider the second law of thermodynamics. This law basically states that the universe is slowly but surely running out of usable energy. But if the universe has always been slowly running out of usable energy, then it should have run out of usable energy by now. The fact that it hasn't is evidence that the universe hasn't always been here. Furthermore, in 2003, Arvind Borg, Alexander Vilenkin, and Alexander Guth prove that any universe that is expanding on average throughout its history must have a finite beginning. The idea that the universe has been expanding has been confirmed by a number of different lines of evidence, including the red shift that we notice when looking at space through the Hubble telescope. The second premise is that the universe began to exist.
The theory that the universe began is known as the Big Bang theory, and it's extremely important to understand that the Big Bang theory doesn't explain how the universe began or what caused it. It only states that the universe began. So if everything that begins to exist needs a cause, and the universe began to exist, then it follows that the universe needs a cause of its beginning. But the logical question here is, why does this cause need to be God? But let's think about what such a cause must look like. It must be extremely powerful in order to create this universe. Secondly, it must be beyond time, since it created the universe before the existence of time. Number 3, it must be beyond space. And number 4, it must be beyond matter, because each of these things are bound by the universe. And lastly, it must be uncaused, because if it has a cause, then that only begs the question, what is its cause? And since we know that an infinite regress is philosophically impossible, there must be some uncaused first cause to this whole chain of events.
Because if not, we can ask all of these questions about that cause, and an infinite regress is absolutely untenable. Therefore, the only solution is that there must be an uncaused first cause.
But is this uncaused cause a person? Because if it is a personal creator, then we might as well call that personal creator God. Now, that argument is a bit complex, so I'm going to save that for the next video in this series. So if you like this video, definitely let me know down in the comments section. If you're a Christian or if you're an atheist, I'd like to hear your feedback.